right. We are going live. All right. Well, we are now live for a brand new episode of the Comic Den, a brand new, very first edition of this kind of Comic Den. As you can see that we're not only just joined by one extra guest, but two special guests. But without further ado, let's just get right on into it and hit that intro.
Welcome to the Dingus Den.
All right, welcome in everybody. We are joined today by the creators of the special indie comic book called SUPERGUY. Right below me, you can see Anthony, who is the writer, and then there's Joey, who is the artist, inker, letterer, you said, right? Yeah, so awesome to have you all here, as their comic is currently on Kickstarter as we speak, going on for another 2 weeks, right?
Yeah, from today, 2 weeks. And yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, I've been wanting to have specifically Anthony on for a while, and so I'm glad to finally have this work out here. I see in this chat we have Taco Cat and Steve Spawn. Thank you very much.
Steve Spawn.
So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pull up the Kickstarter link here and pin it in the chat here so everybody can go check that out. So pinning that here. But first thing I want to ask is just where the idea came from and how this whole idea came about.
Sure. So a couple of years ago, there was an anthology called Unknown Heroes. It was their second volume. And one of the creators of the anthology, Hunter, messaged me on Twitter and was like, hey, I listened to your podcast, Comics and Chronic, and it sounds like you're trying to get into comics. So he gave me an opportunity to do a 10-page story for the anthology,
Sure.
which was my first comics writing gig. So that was really awesome. But of course, with every comic, you need an artist. And Joey, I know through my friend Jake, but we're friends now. We've been friends since, even before SUPERGUY started. But I always had liked Joey's art. I'm wearing a shirt with Joey's art as we speak.
Oh, there you go.
Joey had done a bunch of art, including the logo for my podcast, Comics and Chronic. And I just like his style. The same style you see here. You'll see a lot of that same vibe in SUPERGUY. And I asked Joey if he'd be down to do this 10-page story with me, and he was immediately on board. But when I say the 10-page story, I didn't even have the idea of SUPERGUY yet. I wanted to just make sure I had an artist attached to whatever I was doing. But I knew whatever ideas I would throw at Joey, that it would be something that suited his art style. Which again, I find really unique. You can see it's kind of like Calvin and Hobbes-esque. It's just so cool. And the idea that he really gravitated towards, and I was hoping he chose anyway, was SUPERGUY. Very basically, he's a lazy Superman. He gets a robot sidekick who he makes do all his work for him, but of course he takes all the credit. And just having a little dialogue back and forth with Joey. Joey came back with these really amazing character designs for SUPERGUY and Robot Guy. And we made a 10-page story, and it got a great reception from everyone that checked out the anthology. And we knew we had to go further with it. So we're here today with our 28-page story, brand new 28 pages. You have those 10 pages in the one shot, and then you have the 28 brand new pages for the Kickstarter, which is issue 1. The one shot stands alone. We recommend everybody read the one shot. I try to send it to everybody. It's a free read online on Global Comics, or you could just DM me and I'll get you that. But yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I really enjoyed that one shot. And it's definitely vital to say, I think, at the very least, to read that before going in.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, the other story doesn't make sense without the one shot.
Like we did try to craft it so that it if you didn't read the one shot for whatever reason, that it might be able to stand without that. But yeah, I agree. I in every podcast I've been on, we've been pushing everyone to read the one shot anyway. So yeah.
Welcome in, Kat. Great to see you here.
What?
But yeah, definitely recommend checking out that one shot. I actually had it pulled up right here.
Is that a Weezer hat you're wearing?
Yes, it is. I'm
So-
glad you got that it was Weezer. Most people are like, is it Wonder Woman? Is it WWE?
Yeah, that's Weezer. I'm a fan.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
But yeah, here I have pulled up just the one shot, and so yeah, like I said,
Comic book fan.
what's
Woohoo.
up, comic? Great to see you here. But yeah, no, this one shot. Let's spend a little bit here just talk about this one shot before we get into the new stuff. Is it is really fun just having all this stuff here. I see part of the inspiration here is obviously New York, and from what I've gathered, isn't that like where you're from, and like that's part of the big inspiration for this?
I am from New York, but I would give the floor to Joey for that because the big
okay.
city is definitely his design.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it is like kind of based on like there's little bits of New York there. There's little bits of like Chicago. Like
Sure.
I was thinking like just a sprawling metropolis. Like
Sure.
what could be used? So I just kind of like pieced together parts of actual city to create the big city. Is what our
Okay.
place is called.
Got you. I like it.
Yeah, so like definitely heavy New York vibes.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's what I got first and foremost. I didn't necessarily think Chicago right off the bat, but now that you say that, I see it a little bit. So
Yeah, that's when I read it. That's actually what I kind of gravitated to. I didn't even think New York. I was like,
see, that's funny.
I'm like I'm not from Chicago, but my dad was, so I spent a lot of time there as a kid, and I go back there a lot. So yeah, Chicago is my
Nice.
favorite city.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
That's cool.
I've never been, but I've always wanted to.
Same.
I love it.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times. I went there for Chronicon last year. Or
Oh my
was
gosh.
It was this year, yeah.
Yeah.
I went there for my first and only Star Wars celebration. I haven't been able to get back to
Ooh.
another one.
Oh,
But
nice.
yeah, I went to the one in Chicago. It was a blast.
Oh,
Nice.
love to go
Sounds
to one.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's awesome there. But anyway, this original story involving the president and aliens, it's just crazy. It's a crazy 10-page story though. Very well self-contained and in its own right here as well.
Yeah, it's a silly story for sure. Even the first issue is a silly story, but like trying to pack as much action into a 10-pager as you can, and then in our 28-pagers too. But yeah, that one shot was like, this could be our one shot to ever make a comic, so let's just go big.
Yeah.
Aliens, president's daughter getting kidnapped, just crazy shit happening. So like I'm glad that it comes off that way, that like, that 10 pages is just like a shot of like good comic.
Yeah, absolutely. And so if anybody wants to check this out, that's on screen. Just be sure to message Anthony, or you can message me and I can help relay it. So
yeah, also on Global Comics, you could find that one shot.
Global Comics. All right.
All free. It's always, the one shot's always free.
There you go. So yeah, I definitely recommend checking this out. This was a lot of fun. The one shot. But do you have any other like thoughts on the one shot you'd want to ask specifically about, Steve? Before we get into the
No, I don't have any questions.
No? All right. Cool. Well, with that one shot being an awesome success, and it was cool to see just how all that came together. And it's cool to see how somebody just invited you into this world of being able to, create your own comic here in this case. I think it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, it really pushed us into it because it wasn't like me and Joey had planned to do anything before that. Although I feel like it was inevitable. Like this kind of thing feels,
Everything we had done up until that point was leading to that exact
That exact moment there.
fateful day.
Yeah.
But before we get into the story, I'd like to get into the different covers and all this that you all have offered for this. So first off, we have the main cover, which is used on the thumbnail, which is I love the. I mean, all the covers are homages to different ones, right? I was able to recognize most of them, I think.
It's funny, like a few of them did end up being homages. Because so Joey did the main cover.
Right.
Joey does all the art for the comic, and he did the main cover. The B cover, Ahmed Rafet, that's not an homage. But it looks pretty cool. The same with cover C by Dominique Barlow. That's not an homage either. But yeah, cover D is a Daryl Banks homage to his Green Lantern issue. Which I love that one so much. Yeah. And then the stretch goal cover from Sean Von Gorman is an Incredible Hulk homage.
Yeah, I love that.
I love that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah, got really lucky with the variant covers here for sure.
Yeah, no, these are all excellent covers, and so those are awesome. I'll say my personal favorite definitely is the Hulk one. But they're all really
cool.
Yeah. Yeah, so very well done. Welcome in, Charles.
Very talented artists.
Yeah, I love Sean.
Indeed.
Charles Westcott.
Yep. What's up, Charles? But yeah, all these covers are really cool. And so very, very well done.
And with that Sean Von Gorman one, that was like, we announced that like after the Kickstarter had launched, maybe the next day or so.
Okay.
Yeah, because that wasn't planned at all. That cover was created like that within the last couple weeks leading up to that.
Okay.
And so it's not like it's a lot of the other covers you could add as a like a reward, and it's not necessarily an add-on, like it's its own thing, but this is an add-on. So that even if you bought like the complete cover set, let's say, it wouldn't be included because it's a stretch goal. So you would have to add that one.
Yeah, I was curious about that when I was looking at it myself. And so.
Yeah, and again, like because it just wasn't part of the original plan, it just kind of came after. So yeah.
Gotcha. I mean, that makes sense.
I was trying to be like really meticulous about how the rewards are. Like it's my first Kickstarter campaign, so running it and setting it up. I'm sure, we'll learn a few things about, what we want to do for the next one for sure. But I mean, I think it's been going pretty good, and the way people have engaged with the tiers, I think we picked some good ones.
Yeah, it seems very well balanced, I feel like. One of my things I need to do is just backing into more of these indie comic Kickstarters. I've done a few, but like it's just something I need to do more of. But, something that stops me sometimes is I feel like some of the pricing on them is like, a little much sometimes, just in my opinion.
For sure.
And I feel like I think Urals is very reasonable, and so that's something that I very much appreciate.
Yeah, we tried to be reasonable. I mean, I hear you with Kickstarters. It could be more expensive. I mean, that's just the nature of that. It being indie comics, right? Like we don't have the backing of a major thpublisher or anything like that. Like Marvel and DC and Image could put out $4, $5 comics, but they're. I don't know if they're losing money because of that, but
for sheer volume, I mean,
yeah, exactly. That's a big part of it. Like for us, there's no way. Like digital is 5, and I think that's fair. Physical is 10. Some people do more than that, honestly, and maybe that's when I would look at a Kickstarter and be like, like I don't know if I want to spend, that much. But like I said, 28 pages. You try to pack a lot into it. You're getting a lot of freebies, whether you're a digital or physical backer. I really want to make it worth everyone's money. Because at the bottom line, like me and Joey have talked about this a lot, we just want people to read the comic. So we want to remove every barrier to that,
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's great because, at the end of the day, you're making this because you want to, nobody goes into the comic industry for money. As for most people, that's not what it's about, right?
Right.
And so I think it's awesome that you all have the right idea of just being able to share your work in that regard. So welcome in, Matthew. Great to see you here. But you mentioned about all this extra stuff you get in with it. I'd like to get into what some of these are, which I don't know much actually about these. First off, you have what you have listed, the Brian Box Brown story print.
Yes. So that's something you could add on. So these are just like the add-ons and extras. So the story print is literally the one shot condensed even further. So if 10 pages are too much for you, we have 8 panels that go through the one shot and hopefully summarize whatever you missed.
You did such a good job on that one too. I love that Little
Yeah.
one shot.
Yeah, Brian Brown is a great artist, great cartoonist. I highly recommend checking out any of his stuff. The stickers we have, it seems like a lot of people honestly haven't taken advantage of the stickers, although I think they look really cool. All of Joey's designs, and exclusive to this, like we're putting these out just for, people backing the Kickstarter. So, maybe I'll have them at a con or two, but like going forward, it's just whatever stock we make for the Kickstarter. And that's, how people would get something like that. A lot of the stuff we include, I want to try to make it so that you really can't get it anywhere else. Another incentive to just, this is your chance to get this cool stuff and to support me and Joey to make more SUPERGUY,
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
everybody wins.
Exactly.
So Charles is saying fantastic covers and art.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charles.
And welcome in Dragon Buddy.
Dragon
So yeah, this Kickstarter I have up on the screen. Everybody can view it as it is pinned in the YouTube comments, I believe, or in the YouTube chat there. And so be sure to give it a look. Like I said, like just $5 for a digital version of it to check it out. So, but yeah, let's see here.
The sticker of SUPERGUY in his underwear and wearing Crocs is worth the price alone.
Yeah. Yes.
There you go.
It's a good look.
Yeah. I don't want people rock this look more often,
Exactly.
But yeah, let's see here.
What could look better on like your laptops?
Exactly.
Or your water bottles.
Exactly.
Talk about it.
In his whitey tighties wearing Crocs.
Talk about a conversation starter there, right? Well, let's see here. You got your Christmas card here. That's a funny Christmas card. I like that.
Yeah, that was fun to draw.
Yeah, Joey, I remember you did that for fun, like maybe a year or so ago. You're like, hey, look, I made this Christmas card. I was like, oh my God. Like we need to like this is us making them for real. So like, we could have these on your wreath of Christmas cards this year.
There you go.
Really cool.
That's awesome.
Also, there's some physical copies of the one shot.
All right.
But they're limited. Like I don't have a lot. So luckily we still have enough. So if you still want one of those, I gave those out at Comic-Con. So they're technically a Comic-Con exclusive, but since we still have some stock,
there you go.
That's the physical copy of the one shot.
Yeah, that's awesome. Couple comments from the YouTube chat. Jagamuddy is saying he just got out of the Minecraft movie in Target and going to distract LG as he goes to raid the Lego aisle.
Nice.
Nice.
There you go. And Charles is over here spending his time with us as he's avoiding editing his new podcast episode. You know what? Good choice,
I avoid editing as much as possible.
So
yeah, I don't edit anything on Rebel Nerd Radio.
Yeah, it's just very time consuming.
Really
that's for sure. But yeah. Man, that's an awesome Christmas card.
Thank you.
I'm really curious about how this audio adventure came out as well.
Yeah, well, that's still in the works. But the audio adventure is going to be, so I co-host Comics and Chronic with my friends Jake and Cody. So we're going to get them involved as well as me and Joey. Like it's just the creative team plus our Comics and Chronic pals. I mean, we're doing the one shot, right? So it's going to be pretty much like if the script is done because it's exactly what's going to be in the one shot. But obviously with some bells and whistles, kind of like an audio drama that you might hear. I know some people have tried to do like comic books that way, but this is funny. It's gonna be silly. Maybe some audio adventure exclusive SUPERGUY riffs. Who knows? But I just think it's a cool thing that we could do. Like I think with SUPERGUY as well. Like it probably wouldn't have come about if not for the podcast, because with the podcast, we're talking about comics every week since 2021.
That's awesome.
It definitely helped me. I would say me and you, Spencer, we wouldn't have known each other probably on Twitter if I wasn't out there like promoting the podcast or just talking about comics. Right. And the reason I started talking about comics even more like it was because of the podcast. Like I wanted people to know like, hey, I read this stuff. I want people to trust what I say about comics. But I think it really gave me the opportunity to like be seen by someone and then work on this comic.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to do the socials the right way, which helps that you do that well, I think. Get a good bit of interaction where I'm definitely just not naturally a social media person like that.
No, I mean, I had like a Twitter account since 2012 and I never, no one ever talked to me. It just kind of happened very, very, very slowly.
Sure. Absolutely. But yeah, so all the stuff you have going on is awesome here. So be sure to check out the Kickstarter. You can see all the different add-ons and stuff going on here. Is there any other like special things about the overall like Kickstarter that you want to highlight that hasn't been already highlighted as far as just anything in general with it?
Well, so there are some stretch goals, right? So with the stretch goals, like we hit them super fast. So for instance, yeah, everyone that is a physical backer is going to get another print from one of our variant cover artists, Dominic Barlow.
Oh, there it is. Yep.
All physical backers are also going to get, if you see on screen, there's this, there's a website called Wham Stand. And they make these magnetic emblems. So this is a magnet, but they have all these accessories you can put them on. But at the end of the day, it's just a magnet. So everyone is going to get this nice Super Guy magnet of the logo. I think it's really well made. Like it really has all the details of the logo, just 3D printed and looking really fresh,
So cool.
you know?
That
And that's free. Everyone who is a physical backer is getting that for free.
That is awesome.
Yeah. What else are we doing? Oh, I connected with a lot of indie comic book creators, and so we have a digital pack of comics that if you're a physical or a digital backer, you're going to get like over 20 comics at this point. 20 free digital comics from just creators across the board, which I thought was pretty cool. A lot of people were very willing to throw some of their work in there, so I'm excited to help other people just put their work out there through this, like that's a big part of this campaign that I just want to stress. Like without the community behind us, we wouldn't have funded in 4 hours. We wouldn't have gotten this far. So I think the comic book community, it's important. Like you having a show like this, it's really important to help get the word out for everybody involved. So
yeah, absolutely.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. This is your first ever time doing a Kickstarter, right? Like hosting one, right?
Yeah.
Putting one together, and you said what, 4 hours there, right?
4 hours, yeah.
That is insanely well for your first ever time, I think.
Yeah.
And that's just so good. One of my friends who's actually a DM for our Dungeons and Dragons that I play on Tuesday nights, he did a comic Kickstarter. He put out 2 issues of his story called Isadora and the Immortal Chains. And the reason I'm bringing that up is for his first time there, it was very close to his just not happening. And so, and he did a bunch of the same, marketing and blah, 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 so it's like, like point is though, is like you all hitting that goal within 4 hours is amazing. And you are now over 300% of that goal. So that means, for anybody who doesn't know how Kickstarter works is, the project doesn't happen if it's not funded. This project is already funded 3 times over, meaning you are guaranteed to get this product now with all these special bonuses, which is
exactly
awesome.
And the comic's already made. That's another thing too. Joey has finished it. It just needs to be sent out to the printer.
Yeah. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, speaking of the comic that's already done, just want to speak a little bit on it. Don't obviously want to get too deep into it, but
no, would love to hear your thoughts, honestly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I really liked the characterization of Super Guy and the robot guy in it. Like I thought it was a fun twist on some of those characters. Not saying too much on it, but I got once you kind of hit, say maybe around the halfway point, I kind of got some like Homelander vibes in some ways with Super Guy, which I very much like. I was like, I wasn't expecting this guy to be a kind of a douche in this way, and so that was a big thing that stuck out to me. Is for me, when you have somebody called Super Guy, Just the obvious riff of the name there is Superman, right? And so, and you know, the whole reason of this title of what I named the stream as well, you know, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's super guy. And so and so anyway, having that kind of character just different, you know, a little in some regards kind of a mix of being a little more traditional hero, but then also very much somebody that's not, you know. And so I thought it was a different twist on the kind of like hero sort of, you know, main title hero in that way, which I liked.
No, that's 100% what we were trying to do. Like, not hoping that he doesn't come across as too much of a Homelander, because honestly, like what we were trying to go for was like more of like a lazy Superman, right?
Yeah.
But like, I totally get like towards the end, and like I don't want to spoil anything either. Like things do get heated for sure, sure. But our promise to you is that we're not doing another evil Superman story.
You know, that's valid.
I totally got the lazy superhero vibe.
Yeah.
What I really like about it is like, okay, what if you had superpowers, Steve?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd probably be sitting around eating sandwiches.
Yeah.
Let somebody else do all the work.
Yep. Exactly my thought process.
Like Superguy, you know, like he's the lazy guy, and he puts some like his sidekick to do all the work. But like the only time that he does any of the actual work and stands up and does the shit is when his own credit is in jeopardy, and that's now I'm doing like that's the only time that he's passionate about his own.
Yeah,
you know, like shit. It's just when it's not when it's in danger, I guess.
Yeah, it's a great, unique way to present the character, I think, and that's something that I think makes this project special. Is I can't really think of anything else I would have really read where the character's like that. And so props there for sure.
Yeah, thank you. No, that's awesome. That's what I love hearing that, honestly. Like, because I know like promoting a lot of comics, you know, a lot of times you'll be like, it's a mix of this and this, which is fine. I mean, for marketing purposes, you definitely want, you know, people like, you know, you could say this has gotten comparisons to the Tick for sure. Captain Underpants for adults, some people have said, but not strictly any of those things. It just kind of has those vibes.
Sure, absolutely.
You know?
He certainly has the wardrobe of Captain Underpants.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We do kind of wear our inspirations on our sleeves, but I think that's more like a purposeful thing, you know, to show like, at least in my mind, like we have love for comics, you know, and we have love for the characters that we're kind of basically paying homage to without, you know, but still trying to do something original with them. Like I said, we're like evil Superman, I think has been done so often, and
that's true.
You know, it's been done well, but it's just been done so much.
Right.
It's just not what we're trying to do. Like lazy Superman, funny Superman. What, like you said it perfectly. What if I had powers? What would I be doing? You know,
great way to look into
it. Thing.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. Absolutely. Something that I really liked, or that it also reminded me of, was particularly in the first scene, you know, with the, you know, going into the classroom and whatever here. It reminded me of the beginning of Peacemaker. Remember how Peacemaker went in there? And yeah. Yeah, when I watched it, I was like, this reminds me of Peacemaker, but and kind of a little bit of similar attitude, I guess, in some ways there too.
No, I totally see that. You know, I'm definitely inspired by things like Billy Madison or Kindergarten Cop, you know, like doofus in a classroom saying the wrong things to kids. It's always funny.
Charles just backed for the $5 digital edition. Can't wait to read it.
Hell yeah. Thank you, Charles.
There we go. Ooh. Awesome. Yeah.
There's one tier that I'm very excited about. Speaking of the tiers is, you know, if you spend, I forget what the amount is, but if you back us with that amount, you get drawn into issue 2, which is pretty exciting and be pretty cool to like open up a comic book and hey, there you are.
Yeah. That is very cool.
You want to be immortalized on the pages of Superguy? Check out our Kickstarter.
There you go. Yeah, that's
a cool perk.
Yeah.
I mean, a few people have already taken advantage of that, so there's going to be some non-celebrity but real life cameos in Superguy issue 2.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun.
Smart way to incorporate that for sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, something else I really liked with this is in the one shot, there's this reference to 10,000,001 elephants.
Yes.
Being able to see that was pretty great as well, I think.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's a cool, homage to that.
Joey's elephant army is fucking amazing.
Yes, absolutely.
And yeah, you
Oh,
can see that right now on the Kickstarter. That's one of the preview pages.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Each elephant has its own unique style and personality, and you can see that just looking at the page. And that one was a lot of fun to design and draw.
And I'm definitely the kind of person when I'm writing a script, like I love to keep, like I think if we like in SUPERGUY, there's not like reference to like real world things. I feel like that can make something dated if it was like, pop culture referencey. It's not really anything like that. But the fact that like you caught that, and like, it is for people that we have things that reference the one shot for sure in funny ways and ways that are important to the story. But like that detail, like I would promise you it would keep coming up again, like in future issues of SUPERGUY, like, and we'll elaborate on it. Like it's just so silly. But then once I actually saw that army, I was like, oh, these guys are coming back 100%.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, no, I was like, that's a fun detail that I was just like,
Yeah,
I just like seeing that back there.
And that's a fun thing with the comic too. Like Joey's art, man, like it inspires more ideas. It made things that were on the page kind of basic just become beautiful when when Joey brought them to life. And I think that's really cool to see.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
I think that's awesome. Something else I enjoyed too was just like all the different fun villains that you made as well. Yeah, as you see here also on the Kickstarter page here as well, Dr. Broom.
Dr. Broom.
Love that guy.
The one that stuck out most to me was the haiku villain guy.
Oh yeah, the haikuler. Yeah.
And I was reading through that. I was like, "Are these actually haikus?" Yeah, those are haikus. And that makes me made me want to ask is like, how long did it take you to come up with those haikus?
Not too long, honestly. Like,
really? Okay.
The whole kind of thought process with SUPERGUY, and I don't want it to seem like I'm like, whatever was on the paper. No, because there were tons of edits and changes and stuff like that. But certain things like and when I'm writing, like certain things you can't put too much thought into, because I could have sat there for hours and thought of a million different haikus, but like it just had to work for what was happening in the scene and just be silly enough, but enough that you can notice it's a haiku. So like I'm sure like that's another character that I would want to play around with more, like just
Absolutely.
to write more haikus. It was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't overthink it too much, and I think the ones that we landed on work.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think so.
I thought so too, and that's part of what made me think of that question, because I was like, these haikus are haikus. I took the extra moment to be like, are these actual the 5 7? Yeah, okay, yeah. I was literally doing that in my head there, or actually, I think I even have my fingers out to the side, like, okay, yeah. And so, and they're working there, so that's where I asked it there. And so,
that was really fun. And I'm glad he's one of your favorites, because like a lot of people would say one of the other guys on that page they thought was just like that was the one that they came away remembering, KK Kringle.
Oh yes. Yes, absolutely.
I love KK Kringle. So much fun to draw.
Yeah.
That was all the villains there were just a lot of fun. You can just tell that during that whole special double spread as well. You should mention it as well. Having that whole sequence there was a lot of fun, I thought.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that double spread, I'm so excited for everyone to see it. And it's really the people that have read it, they bring those pages up, and I'm so glad they do, because like maybe you could skip over certain double page spreads, like maybe it's just like literally two people punching each other sometimes. It's like, but like the point of it was like put as much in there as possible, which It
There's a
was kind
lot.
of a chore. Yeah. I kind of regret some of it, but like I just love the way it turned out. But I felt bad when you were working on it, Joey.
I mean, definitely at the time, like, God damn, like, why did I put so much detail into this? Now I have to not only like, sketch it out. Now I have to find the lines. Now I have to ink those lines. And now I have to color in those lines. And now I have to shade those lines. Like, there's so much detail, but man, does it really just all come together in such a satisfying way.
Yeah.
Like, I really had to trust the process during that whole thing.
It turned out
It
great.
paid off.
Yeah, it turned out great. I've really enjoyed your simplistic like art style to this as well.
Yeah.
And it really lends itself, I think, to the story as well, and just having a general comic book vibe to that,
Yeah.
that very much fits the vibe of the story, which I think is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
My question about the future of Super Guy is, are we going to get a General Zod type arch nemesis?
I guess we're gonna have to keep reading and find out.
Yeah. Well, wait. So did you read the issue?
Yeah, I read them both.
You read? Okay. Well, I don't want to spoil anything, but there's some hints at the end of issue 1 of where we might be going.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, I know who you're talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. I know who you're talking about now.
But specifically that kind of character. Okay, so it's interesting. You know what? Because I just had a brain fart for a second. When you said General Zod, I was thinking of General Zurg from Toy Story, which is a completely different character. Completely different character. Yeah, but no, there actually is. It is kind of funny, and this isn't a spoiler or anything, because it's just kind of something we're talking about for like future arcs. Because yeah, like this Super Guy 1, we're trying to do at least 3 more issues to create like a trade we could put out. So like a 4-issue arc at the very least. And issue 2 is already written. We just need to finalize it, and I'm sure we're going to get to work on that very soon. But there are like, and especially once everyone listening, watching reads it, we're building a world here, right? Like,
yeah,
like I think even in 1 issue and one shot, we've kind of established, like we're not trying to make a universe. We're just trying to make it true to Super Guy and Robot Guy, what happens in their world, but like make it enough of a comic book. Like Invincible inspired us a lot, for instance, and the way Invincible builds on their world and introduces new characters and things are happening in the background, but then they come to light maybe 10 issues later. You might have even forgotten it was there, but it builds to the whole story. And there's a lot of that, I think, happening here, especially in our thought process. So the way we set it up at the end, but even things that we're talking about for the future, like I was saying before, like I want to keep not referencing things that happen in pop culture, but things that happen in the story. So the details that we put in are there on purpose. And Joey especially is putting so much detail into the art and backgrounds that then feeds back to me. I'm like, well, that's a cool detail. We're gonna have to use that for something. Like it's not superfluous. So like everything is important in Super Guy. As silly as a story it is, like we want the world to feel like real and cohesive. And like, is there a General Zod type character out there? Like, yeah, like Super Guy is powerful, but like, what if someone is as powerful as him, but isn't, trying to do like silly stuff, like someone that could like go to toe to toe with him and he can't stop them. Like, yeah, of course we have ideas. And Super Guy like almost comes across as the antagonist in this first issue, which is also on purpose. We definitely want you to root for Robot Guy. But in the process, we definitely want Super Guy to come back around. We want you to eventually like Super Guy. Whatever's on the page here, you're not gonna like him. Like he's meant to just be like, this guy's a douche.
Right.
Like I don't ever want to root for him. But I love characters in fiction, and I don't know about you guys, but like Game of Thrones, for instance, does it or did it so well, where someone like Jaime Lannister could throw a kid from a window in the first episode, and then seasons later you're rooting for Jaime Lannister because like he's such a badass and stuff like that. So like there are ways, like Super Guy's a deeper character, Robot Guy's a deeper character than they might seem on the surface, and then even by their names, which are just silly, like Super Guy, Robot Guy.
Yeah.
We have a lot in stores. What I want to say. I know that was such a is there a General Zod type, but like we have so much planned,
No, that's awesome to just hear like so much passion with this and this like it really does like come together, I think, really well.
Dragon
And
Buddy says he's on for a physical
yes,
copy.
I was like, just
Oh, nice.
so there we
Oh,
go.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Thank
there
you,
we
thank
go.
you.
Yeah, that is awesome. Thank you, everybody, so much that came by and to support all this. Freaking awesome to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
No, I think it's important, you know, like if you're on board for this, it's not just one issue, you know, it's like, even if you were on board on the one shot, like now you have a one shot and an issue, you know, where we see that a lot of people like it, you know, that's not a brag. It's really like a lot of people are like, we want more.
Right.
That can't be a bad thing, you know?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm definitely on board with it. Like I'm fully on board with everything you have going on, and I can't wait to see where it goes.
Hell yeah.
So the only other question that I have in my mind, at least as of now, is just where some of your inspirations for the robot character came from. And like, you know, that sort of overall sort of story idea, because I don't want to say too much about where it goes on a little more, but I think it takes a little bit of a different turn, especially for a robot sidekick character, which is kind of very interesting, especially of like what happens in the pages just after what's shown on the Kickstarter itself.
I would want Joey to speak on the design, because I feel like the design of Robot Guy is so good, and I think he has some cool inspirations there. Character wise, like I love Ratchet and Clank. That, you know, that game came out when I was like 12 years old, and you know, it's still going strong. And the characters in it are hilarious. There's definitely a lot of Clank in Robot Guy, I would say, for sure. Like, you know, that's probably like his grandfather in a lot of ways, like just because Clank is a robot that's very robotic, but he has human feelings a lot of the time almost, and that's where a big inspiration for this comes from. But then a lot of his personality, I think, just comes from, once again, his design. And I would let Joey take it from there for sure.
Yeah, I mean, for his design, I kind of like bit and pieced a bunch of other like robots from like pop culture that not that I look up to, but I'm a fan of. Like, there's sprinklings of Bender in there. There's Eve from Wall-E a little bit in there, like in like
totally
the eyes.
in there.
Yeah.
A little bit of R2-D2 with like the kind of squat head that, you know, doesn't really, you know, he doesn't really have a neck, but he can still like, look around. Just, you know, little bits and pieces of all my favorite robots. I got them just kind of clumped together, and that's what popped out.
I like it.
I love him. Like, he's one of my favorite things to draw in the comic. Like, there's just so much like characterization that I can put into this little tin can body of his, you know, and it's just I don't know. I hope that, you know, eventually people add him to their roster of favorite pop culture robots as well as mine.
Yeah.
And not to spoil anything, but it looks like you're going to expand on his story a little bit too.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot more to be told on Robot Guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Robot Guy was the big highlight of this first issue in particular, and so
it's definitely much more of a Robot Guy centered story.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then, of course, Super Guy still takes the credit and puts his name on the front of the book.
There you go. Exactly. Welcome in, Rolando. Great to see you here.
Hey,
Rolando.
Yeah. See, I can't think if I don't think I really have much else specifically to ask. Do you have anything, Steve?
No, I asked my big question.
Yeah. There you go. Well, thank you all so much for joining us here. Super Guy is live on Kickstarter right now. As you can see, it hit that goal. Even got a couple extra backers today, which is fantastic. So thank you so much. Yeah,
you've got a link to it in the show description, right?
Show description and in the chat right now for anybody watching to go click on that. So be sure to go check that out and give it a look here too. So yeah, thank you all so much for coming by. As I said, if you all want to stick around for the rest of what we're doing, you know, feel free to.
Yeah, we're going to talk comic book nerd stuff.
Yes.
Nice.
Good
I
roll.
actually do need to hop off, but this was a great time. Seriously. And the fact that we got some backers out of this is so awesome. But it was a fun talk. I'm down to come back whenever you want, man.
Absolutely. I would love to have you back on sometime. It's great having you around. So
Yeah, let's do it.
day.
Sure.
See you guys. I gotta actually hop off too.
All right.
Great to talk to
you
you.
too.
Thank you, fans, new fans, and old fans.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you
You
so
know
much
that.
for coming by. Have a good one.
You too, guys. Bye.
Laters. All right.
I
Well,
did
there-
back it, by the way, and I didn't say anything, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
did back it.
That's awesome. So be sure to go back it. And that was awesome having them on. And it was a really good read. And I'm so glad to see a couple people
Yeah,
back
definitely.
it as well. And so and to come support creators, create individual creators' works. I think is very important. Something
Yeah,
very
yeah.
important to support.
I'm gonna try to remember to plug it on Tuesday too.
Awesome. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, no, they're awesome people. So
Yeah, Dragon Buddy, I think you're really gonna like it.
yes,
It's silly fun.
it's yes, absolutely. And so yeah, absolutely. So that was awesome. So thank you for joining Anthony and Joey. So
Yeah.
but now let's get into our regular bits and whatnot, if you will. We're first just talk about what else we've read. Obviously, we just read SUPERGUY, which is awesome.
Yep.
So awesome that they provided us early copy to read. And so, but
let's see. Other than my poll list from last week, did I read anything else? I did actually. I read Batman Haunted Night by Jeff Loeb.
Oh, I need to read that.
Which is like a collection of different Halloween themed stories.
That's awesome.
Also, it's that's the Jeff Loeb, Tim Sal team. So that's always good.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what else did I read? I read a trade that for some reason I like. This is something I thought I had already read, but apparently I only read like the first issue of it. So now that the trade's out, I read Batman Beyond the White Knight.
Okay.
Are you familiar with the Sean Murphy verse, as they call it?
I've only read that first arc.
Okay.
I remember reading that first arc as it was something. I don't remember when that began, but when I kind of like first started getting into comics, I'm going to say it was relatively new. Like,
yeah,
like,
I read it when it first came out, and I was like, man, this is amazing.
So, see, when I first read it, I remember thinking Batman's a dick, and I don't like it. Kind of.
Oh, that's what made it great.
Right. But I remember though, it's like when I watched it though, I didn't, or not watch it. Oh my gosh, when I read it at the time, I was like, this. While I got the point it was going for, it just didn't vibe with me. But I found a great deal on it at the Comic-Con I went to like a month ago, and I think that it was a trade it was the trade of that first White Knight of I think it was for like $8 I got it for, and I was like, I can't pass that up.
Keep going. I'm wondering, do I own the White Knight trade? I don't know if I do.
Thank you so much for stopping by, Charles, and also for your support. I really do appreciate everybody that came by, and not just for the show, but to also show some support for having creators. As that was actually the first ever time I've done something like this, and so that's something I definitely like to try to figure out to incorporate more of as well, and definitely hope that I actually do Anthony for a bit as well. So
I actually don't own the hardcover of the first one, which I need to rectify that. I also don't own the hardcover of the second trade, which is Batman Curse of the White Knight. And that's the one that focuses on, well, I say focuses, but it strongly includes Azrael and kind of turns the tables on who Batman actually is. It's a crazy story. But then, so this is another reason this is so weird that I've never read this, but I just realized I own the hardcover of Beyond the White Knight. So as you can see, it's like the Batman Beyond, kind of looking into him and looking into
That's
Terry McGinnis. But yeah, I read that, and it's pretty cool. The other one of that series that I own is actually this one here. Harley Quinn and
Oh yeah,
if folks out there, if you have not read the, I guess we can call it the White Knight series. I just call it the Murphyverse.
Sure.
There's a lot of, it's a really cool alternate look at Batman. And it's future because Batman's old. But yeah, it's an interesting storyline. I like it.
That's awesome.
We're probably going to start talking about those on Batcave at some point in time.
Nice. I would actually be interested in joining you all for that first one, since like I said, I just bought it and I want to revisit it.
Yeah, I probably need to, while we're thinking about it, because I'm going to forget if I do this. I wonder how much the hardcover is on. That's paperback. I don't want paperback.
See, I was literally just, while you're doing this, I was literally just looking a day or two ago about buying what's for next week's show, which is already scheduled. So for anybody listening in, be sure to join us next week for where we're going to be talking about Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars.
Oh my gosh, the hardcover is like $50. Good Lord.
No, never mind,
maybe not. But yeah, I mean, if we do it on the Batcave, we'll probably start with that first one.
Absolutely.
Anyway, so other than that, the only other thing that I've read, other than Superguy, was The True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys. It is a comic book. I don't know if it was ever put out in single issue. Maybe, I don't know. It's written by a guy named Gerard Way, who is not only also the writer of Umbrella Academy, but is also the singer for the band.
I haven't heard of that band.
My Chemical Romance.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. The guy that sings for My Chemical Romance is the writer of Umbrella Academy, and he wrote The Fabulous Lives, or The True Lives of the Fabulous Killjoys, which is a futuristic dystopian type thing, and it's fucking nuts.
Was that worth the read? Was it worth the read?
Let's talk about that offline.
Okay, sure. Okay, sure.
Yeah. I would go with Umbrella Academy over this one.
Okay, that's fair.
The concept of this one is really cool. But yeah, let's.
Sure.
You know what? No, I'm just going to say it. I mean, Gerard, I'm sorry, dude, but your world building in this book was not great.
Oh, okay.
It was almost non-existent. Like, you just threw us into this world, and you're like,
I see.
Okay, here you are. Like, the characters were not developed at all. It was just like the concept of it was really interesting, and the dialogue was good.
Sure.
It's just like the overall world and character building was just piss poor. So, I mean, read it because it's a cool concept, but otherwise, I didn't really enjoy it as much as I thought I would.
All right. Yeah.
He's a good writer. I don't know what he was doing with this one. It was just kind of like, he did it very lazily.
Got you. All right. Yeah, I had no idea that you said he's the singer of My Chemical Romance.
Mm-hmm.
See, yeah. I love that band, but as much as I really like bands, I know very few of any of the names of the people involved with.
Yeah, he's the singer. I think the bass player is his brother.
Okay.
But Yeah, good band. I saw them at Riot Fest back in 2022.
That's awesome. I would love to if there's an opportunity where they play somewhere near me. I'd love to try to go.
Yeah, their tickets are expensive.
What concert tickets isn't expensive nowadays? Let's be fair.
Well, theirs are crazy expensive. But the only reason I saw them is because I went to Riot Fest. But the main reason we went to Riot Fest was actually because of them, because my youngest really wanted to see them. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll go to Riot Fest. And I'm glad I did, because there was a lot of bands that I saw there that I actually had never seen before. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, cool.
That's awesome.
Or bonus. But yeah, My Chemical Romance put on a freaking amazing show.
Nice. All right. That's awesome.
But yeah, that's all I read. I am planning on reading, whether or not I get it done tonight or not. I am planning on reading the first volume of Birds of Prey by Kelly Thompson.
Is that the new one or
the current run? Yeah, it's volume 1 of the current run.
Okay.
I've had it on my reading list, and I just haven't got around to it.
you.
The other day, I was like, I really need to read this.
Well, I can say your reading has been much more productive than mine. I have mainly, actually, pretty much only been catching up on my pull. The only things I have left to read is I bought the Godzilla vs. Fantastic Four comic, and I'm waiting to read that closer to time because I'm actually planning on doing a video over that one, just a separate,
Cool.
review video with Kat. And then and just haven't read my Spawn stuff yet. All of my Spawn stuff, I should say, yet. But I've read.
Completely forgot that I got this at the library last week and still haven't read it.
Oh, I didn't know they did a graphic novel version of that.
Yeah, I saw that on the shelf and I was like,
Interesting. Not the kind of person I thought would pick that up, but okay.
Why wouldn't I?
I don't know.
The idea of the story idea is really interesting. I haven't read the book because I don't read nearly as much as I used to.
See, that's the thing I find out.
My ADHD has just shot me in the ass.
I've found it now is I've just really enjoyed the flow of reading a comic versus a novel nowadays. It's kind of hard for me to get into it sometimes.
Yeah.
But I will try every now and then.
I don't remember the last novel. It might have been Dune, but certainly I've read a novel after that. I don't remember.
Yeah. All right.
I will say I have not read a novel this year.
Yeah, I haven't broke open any this year. That's for sure. That'll change. I think I'm gonna do shout out to Red 5 Reading where they do all their stuff there. They're doing a Star Wars read next month.
Yeah.
The newest Star Wars novel, The Reign of the Empire, the first book of that.
Oh yeah, I kind of want to read that one. Maybe I will.
So I'm planning on joining them for that, and then the month after
Is
that.
It already out?
Yeah, it just came out like a month ago or two.
Jeez,
something like that.
Not one
month and a half ago. It came out within the last couple months. So that I want to read, and then the month after that Reign of the Empire book, we're reading The Hobbit, which I'm very excited to get into.
Cool.
It's a great story. It's The Hobbit. It's some people feel as if The Hobbit's better written because it's a more self-contained story. So, but very excited for that because it's The Hobbit. What more do I need to say about that? But anyway, back to the comics. All I've read is just stuff from my pull list. I've read through all my other Marvel and DC stuff, which they've all been good. I'm just trying to think of what I've read that was most notable. I read a comic that I was not a big fan of that I ended up pulling, and then I read actually the last issue of Wolverine Revenge. I read, which that was
what book did you read that you didn't like?
It was a special. So I subscribed to Deadpool and Wolverine, and they
okay.
threw it in there. They threw it in there every time, or not every time. The Deadpool and Wolverine. There's a special that they did called the Slash 'em Up special, which is it's a collection of those Infinity comics. I didn't realize they were Infinity comics at first. until after I was like reading a little bit of it. I was like, oh, that's what this is. But anyway, they did a printed collection of all of that 6 issues of the. I know 6 issues sounds like a lot, but when it's a digital, like smaller comic, it's really not that much. It kind of just turns into like a little thicker than normal issue. But anyway, that Deadpool Wolverine that they reprinted or printed out, I wasn't particularly big into. I mean, I still picked it up because I was like, yeah, I'll check it out. You know, Deadpool and Wolverine, and it could be fun. You know, it could be a fun little special thing, and I don't know. It just didn't fully click for me, but Wolverine Revenge ended, which that was. I'm going to say the story to that was just fine, but the art was spectacular because it was Capullo doing Wolverine, and so it's one of those rare comics where I fully stuck through with it because it's Capullo doing amazing art and not necessarily the writing of it.
Yeah,
not bad writing, but it could have been a lot better. Hickman's written a lot better. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah. So the last novel that I read, I think I'm going through my Goodreads list.
Oh.
I think the last novel I read was a Star Wars novel. It was called Most Wanted.
You know, I think I remember you talking about this one. I don't remember.
It was good. I liked it.
That's cool.
Yeah, I based on time frame. Yeah, that's the last novel I read. And that was back in oh my gosh, was that October?
Yeah.
Yeah, October was the last time I read a novel. That's pretty sad. I did attempt to read I started to read Fellowship.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't get into it.
Tolkien's, well, is this before or after you got into the movies?
After the movies.
Okay.
Yeah, after the movies. I couldn't.
Because I was going to say, it's one of those cases where I could understand it being really hard after you, like after, or before reading, or before watching the movies, because, you know, there's so much that it takes into, but then you're already exposed to a bit of that stuff in the movies. I mean, obviously there's changes, you know, obviously, but like a lot of it you're kind of already exposed to and kind of have the idea of like, you know, not as much of a information overload after you've been exposed to a bit of it, you know. Yeah. So that's why
I tend to stick to graphic novels and comic books.
Yeah. I same as well, which is why we do this show. But you know, you know, it's funny you say Lord of the Rings. That is probably my favorite written work out there. So, but I can definitely understand it being hard to get into. But you know, that's part of the reason why I love it is because of the different, just the world building that Tolkien does. Well, it's not for everybody, which I completely understand.
Yeah, I like world building.
He's a master.
I think it's just that ADHD. I just can't.
I can understand that with his writing. Like I said, like his writing is just, you know, he has amazing world building, and I think those show in the Lord of the Rings movies pretty well. But it can be hard when there's just a lot of that, you know.
Yeah.
Especially with, like you were saying, an ADHD brain. I can understand how that'd be very hard to get into with his writing style. So. But yeah. Anyway, let's talk about what's on our poll list this week. As I don't know if I actually ended up sorting these or not. No, I didn't. But you know, whatever. We'll get into it. I kind of just have it as a mix of what's going on here. But all right, yeah, let's get into this. Let me share with you just all the stuff I have going on here as well, so you can see all that. First up, which is, I'd say what I'm most excited for out of this list. Yeah. Absolute Batman issue 7, the beginning of a new arc. And we get to see the absolute version of Mr. Freeze in this issue, which is exciting. That's not what I want. There we go.
Really looking forward to that one. I think, don't we also see Bane in this one?
I think Bane's starting with issue 9, which is why we're seeing it in the previews just recently. But yeah, Mr. Freeze in this. I'm very much looking forward to seeing a little bit of.
Yeah, this is just a really good alternate Batman. It's so good.
The whole Absolute Universe is killing it.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
including the last two that we just talked about.
Yeah, I wasn't there for that one.
I was gonna say,
Martian Manhunter was fine. I don't think I'm going to continue it. It just
okay,
not for me. Flash, I will be continuing.
okay.
Yeah.
See, I thought Martian Manhunter was really unique, and I
will give it that.
great. I thought it was just what I sure go on.
Yeah, it was definitely unique. No, I'll give it that.
Mhm.
But I just I couldn't get into it. I was like, this was just
That's fair. Part of what I love about really liked about it is, you know, there's I love that DC's a universe, because I don't feel like you really get this with Marvel nearly as much, and we certainly haven't seen it with Marvel's Ultimate Universe, is that unique kind of story existing within the universe, and then also eventually maybe be connected, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's what I really liked about it.
Maybe I'll give it another issue.
I mean, you could always just wait and just like for it all to be out, you know, and read it that way as well. So, but I'm really looking forward to it as it didn't feel like a superhero comic to me.
No,
And that's part of why I really liked it, is I was like, this is a superhero comic, but the story here works pretty well, I think. So, but anyway, that's that. But anyway, Absolute Batman issue 7, Mr. Freeze, can't wait. Also, speaking of Batman, is something on your list, Batman and Robin issue 20.
Yeah, I'm really liking this arc that's going on right now.
That's awesome.
They're really diving into Damian, and like, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but I will. This arc is kind of exploring the idea that Damian doesn't want to be Robin anymore.
Like, I've heard that. Yeah.
Like, he wants to do something else, like not superhero related at all. He just wants to be a kid and do other stuff. So I'm really interested in seeing how this arc turns out.
Nice. All right. Yeah, no, that's very cool. Sorry, I just responding to an important message there. As I had plans that I'm gonna push back till tomorrow. Involving a particular movie that you saw. So
oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna go today, but I'm hearing that they're very busy, and so probably just gonna wait for tomorrow.
It was pretty crowded yesterday.
Did you get a lot of reactions on yours? Because I've seen some video.
Yeah, there was.
I think it would be. See, that might be fun. Problem is I'd be going with my friend who works at the theater, and he'd get off literally 5 minutes before the show time. And with how packed they are, and he's saying that they're selling out of every one, it's like, oh, may just be better to wait till tomorrow.
Yeah, it was pretty. We went to the 4:45.
Yeah,
it was pretty crowded.
Yeah,
we got our tickets last week, so
yeah.
So we were like, we already had our tickets, so that's good. It's just that,
right.
Yeah, we get there and it's like, oh man, I don't want these many people sitting next to me.
What's up, Patrick? That's an amazing cover. Yes. Be sure to listen in on the replay, as we had a great conversation with the creators of SUPERGUY and talking about what that's about, and awesome people. Love to have them back sometime, but definitely get a kick out of that, Patrick, or look into that, Patrick, as I know you are a big indie comic supporter, or you like to look into a bit of those at the very least.
You said that was a good cover. It's got some pretty interesting variant covers too.
Yeah. I don't have those pulled up, but hard to do wrong with a Batman cover. But yeah, I definitely like that cover. All right, next up, Green Lantern Corps issue 3, which I'm very excited for.
Wait a minute, as not on my list. Did I take it off already?
Did you? Oh no. You read issue 2, right?
Thought I did.
With with a particular big character that came back.
See now, hang on. Let me check my library.
Let's say this: the character's on the cover here.
So that's Absolute Green Lantern. There's Green Lantern. Uh-oh. Where's it at? I don't think I have it. There's the first one. No, I didn't get the second one. What the heck? Did it fall off my library? How'd that happen?
Oh no. Well, I will say definitely worth the read. There's a character that came back in it that may or may not be on the cover of this other issue that I was not expecting back and was awesome. I love seeing this character back, and very much excited for this issue in particular as it is continuing this story of what's going on with a well-known Lantern character.
I think I know why I did not get it.
Oh,
because usually on comics there is an option that I can click on that says subscribe to series.
Oh, okay.
This one does not give me that option. That's very odd. It's like you can buy the issue, but you cannot subscribe to the series. That is so stupid. Why does it do that? All right, well, I'm gonna have to read. Okay, I'm gonna have to read number 2 and probably put number 3 back on my list.
Yeah, after reading 2, I'm very excited for 3. As like 1, as we had our episode on, is a good introduction to everything. 2 starts getting into a more specific arc, and I'm really liking where this arc is going, and having a particular character back here, as you see on the front here. So anyway,
yeah.
So yeah, awesome stuff. Something else I'm looking forward to, as this has actually been really good, is Aquaman. Aquaman has some really interesting stuff going on, stuff that you would not necessarily expect from an Aquaman story. But you know what? That's what I'm here for, and taking Aquaman in a little bit of a different direction, and from a writer that I really like. Actually, somebody that's co-writing Green Lantern Corps here. I'm really liking what's going on with Aquaman, so definitely be sure to check out this at some point as well.
Very cool.
Next up is something on your list.
Daredevil. Yeah. Daredevil. Yeah, he's getting out of the he is no longer doing the priest thing.
Stuck out to me that there's the black suit there.
Yeah, he's got the black suit on.
He brought that back again. So
yeah. So I'm looking forward to reading that one.
Excellent. All right. We also have the new issue of Spawn 363 right there, where I didn't put this in our news segment, which I know would be coming up right after this anyway, but I saw because of, I need to get into the political world, but because of what's going on out there, if you know, everybody knows, the pricing of Spawn is now starting to go up to $3.99 now, which is a big thing since they've kept this $2.99 price since 2010.
Is it being published in Japan or China?
You see, I don't know of what's going on with it, because it made me raise an eyebrow of why I was like, I wonder why all that's due to as well. Part of me also wonders if it's just not necessarily the printing, but everything used for the printing as well. I don't know. I don't know the full situation of it, but I was like, okay, it's not what I was expecting right offhand when I think that, of what's going on would be impacted by, but the world we live in, so what can I say? Anyway, Spawn's starting to go up. So anyway, point is that I'm getting to there is I might, and I want to keep some Spawn, but since they are now going up to like a more standard price, because I think part of the appeal for Spawn, and I think a lot of people who buy it is part of this, kind of shares a similar mindset of, you're talking about a comic that's cheaper than your normal comic, so that makes it a little more appealing to keep on buying them, especially initially when all the Spawn stuff came out, with before all the different series that they're doing now, is you're talking about like, okay, you're talking 4 series, $2.99 each. So that's what, $12. If your comic shop does a discount, you're talking less than $12 a month for 4 different Spawn titles, right? And so that's what kept me going on for it. But now, since they're like they've been doing more, and now B, with everything going up, it's like, I don't know if I'm gonna. I want some Spawn, like I at least want main Spawn still, but like other than that, I'm gonna have to figure out what I really want. But anyway, Spawn. Something else I'm very excited for, actually. I was saying, if Absolute Batman wasn't what I was most looking forward to, it's this. And it is the new issue of Transformers, issue 19 of Transformers. Is what this is going to get into. Is I think this is the backstory of what's happening with Megatron. So Megatron hasn't really been a presence in this universe. It's been a lead up to Megatron, which is part of what's really cool, I think, with this universe. And anyway, without any spoiler, well, it's kind of hard to spoil it, but Megatron's back. All right, Megatron, like the end of issue 18, which is like the end of that arc, you could say, is it has Megatron back. And so this is issues 19 through 24 is going to be big because it's now focusing on, well, the big character of Megatron that they've been leading up to literally with the entire series so far he's here. And so I'm very excited to see where it's all culminating with Megatron specifically here.
Very cool.
And yeah. I will also say, I believe it's this writer who's Daniel Warren Johnson. He is also, I think after this arc, he's done with the run as well, I believe.
Oh.
So they're still going to be doing Transformers stuff, but his initial idea and pitch for this whole Transformers story here, it's going to be done, and I think it makes sense considering like how he like set up Megatron as a big bad here and everything. So we'll see what happens afterwards. But I'm very excited to see where this whole story that I think has been excellent so far it's going here. So. All right. We then have Jedi Knights issue 2.
Yeah. The first one was decent. I'm gonna give it another issue.
See, yeah. We'll see what happens. Something I was just, when I was looking at this, I was like, is Atha Prime a new character, or is that a Legends character that they're bringing in?
That sounds familiar, but.
See, I was curious by that.
I'm pretty sure that is a Legends character.
Yeah. Because I feel like it is a name I would have heard as well.
Yeah, he was a...
Oh, it's looking like... Yeah, this person was in Legends. Yep, Atha Prime was a big character in Legends, so there we go. Appeared in some things, not a lot of things.
Well, he was I think he was a separatist. Maybe. I don't remember.
The very first appearance of this character was from what? Was originally just a toy? Oh, apparently I had a vision in the first episode, but a big focus of this issue. So interesting. But yeah, anyway, a very small character that had a Legends presence, but not really. Is now getting a spotlight here. So that's interesting. So yeah. All right. So that's it on my, or in between our two pull lists. But there is 2 issues coming out this week that I'd like to highlight. First off, the new era of Amazing Spider-Man begins with this issue 1 that I'm thinking I'll pick up. Yeah. So, very curious about what's going on with this special first issue of Amazing Spider-Man. So, like I said, I'm thinking I'll get this one. And on top of that, I'm trying to remember if I covered if we talked about this at some point somewhere. We maybe did because it looked very familiar. But there's a new comic from Dark Horse coming out from Mark Miller.
Joe Kelly, huh?
Yeah. It's the same creative team behind the current Spider-Man arc, the 8 Deaths, or what would have just ended, I guess, the 8 Deaths Spider-Man. So, but yeah. Anyway, the other issue that stood out to me is called Vatican City, written by Mark Miller, where the premise of this is the world has been overrun by a vampire apocalypse. Every man, woman, and child dead, except for 2,000 tourists safe behind the walls and holy relics of Vatican City. But as the vampires gather and their millions outside, how long can they hold out?
Interesting.
Monsters can't wait. Oh, because the monsters can wait forever. So there we go. I'm looking forward to seeing this one. Actually, I think it sounds like a cool.
Yeah, that's
cool premise.
interesting. Miller's done some good stuff.
Absolutely, I agree. All right, and now let's get into our news, as there's some stuff to talk about. Not a whole lot of comic news, but there was
a lot float across my news feeds. But
there's a few things, not a whole lot. And there's also, I should mention, a couple things I was going to bring up that's comic tangential as well, like very much comic tangential, because there's a little thing called CinemaCon that happened. So I figured I'd go over that stuff as well. But first thing I have is Distillery has a new publishing partner because of all the stuff going on with Diamond and blah blah blah. I just wanted to mention that as they're now working with Penguin Random House, which you probably know the name. So there's that going on. Just wanted to mention that. Some of these things I kind of more just want to mention more than anything, you know.
Sure.
Such as we were just talking about Dark Horse Comics. There's 5 new series that actually begins this April. One of them, that Vatican series, but then there's also other ones called The Great British Bump Off Killer Bee Quilt, which is all it says is prepare to enter the brutal and vindictive world of quilting. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Vatican City that we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Arcania Royale, which are the streetwise gambler Hudson Tremaine is invited to play in an underground poker tournament. She realizes the stakes are higher than she ever imagined. Okay. We have a new Witcher series, The Bear and the Butterfly. Talk about Geralt travels to a remote town where vampires are rumored to be killing the townspeople. Bounty Hunter is amassed all manner of monster hunters, and among them is another Witcher from the School of the Bear, a fierce competitor for the reward. And then last one is a new Star Wars one. Issue 1 of Star Wars Hyperspace Stories, which will evolve around Poe Dameron, Ace Resistance pilot, and his droid companion BB-8 are sent to investigate a piece of First Order tech used to decode Resistance messages. So this is definitely more of their kid-friendly, you know, like Dark Horse does all the kid-friendly stuff. But this art here is pretty solid, I think.
Have you still been reading Geiger?
No, I dropped off of it.
Okay, just curious.
I want to. It's on my list of stuff to read. So, all right, let's get into some other stuff. Yeah, the fun Disney crossovers with Marvel characters still continue with What If Goofy Became Spider-Man? And as you can see here, there's also lots of variant covers here as well. Very fun there. Oh dear. I think that's actually a pretty solid cover there, but you know, that's a fun one there. Oh, here's a cool one, having all the different characters that they've done so far all together. So there you go. Oh, that's a cool.
Yeah,
I like that one. Actually, I think these actually are a pretty good set of covers here. But what if Goofy became Spider-Man? And then, you know, obviously have the main one as the homages they'd have to do. You know.
Yeah.
So, very good set of covers, I gotta say. Comes out.
Mickey Mouse is as Reed Richards, I see there.
Yeah, right. And so that was a fun issue. I had to pick that one up. At least I think did I? See, now I'm questioning if I think I picked that one up, but now I'm questioning if I actually read it because I'm trying to remember what happened in that. Or if that's about to come out. Okay, anyway. That comes out July 30th. So there we go. We also have we talked about this announcement before, but we got to
actually see these here in the studio.
I thought I was sharing this already. Oh, I wasn't.
I
know why I wasn't.
Yeah,
I know why I wasn't. That is my bad. As I realized I accidentally shut it down. Imperial.
We talked about this.
We did
2 weeks ago. Yeah.
But we now get some pages of what it looks like.
Oh, well, there you go.
And that is specifically why I was highlighting this. Is we kind of get some hints and art and look at all these different characters that we talked about before that was in it. But I'm very curious here of like, the art here is really good. Shout out to Iban or Coelho, but also I'm just very curious of what's going on here. Like I know earlier I said I was really looking forward to this, but now I'm like, I can't wait for this as everything I'm seeing here just makes me want to read more of it. And I love this cosmic side of the Marvel universe that I don't think gets explored enough. So seeing all this art here definitely makes me more excited for it. And it's only 4 issues long, so I'm gonna have to make sure to pull this. I was really just looking through a list of stuff like what do I need to pull, because there's also that new Superman series I want to pull as well, Superman Unlimited.
Yeah, so that's the Dan Slott one, right?
Yep. Another Marvel Limited series that I probably won't check out, at least not as it comes out. A 3-issue series called Deadpool's or Wolverines and Deadpool's, as we now have a second Deadpool and we've had a second Wolverine for a while, and involves the team up of all of them. And Deadpool's or Wolverines and Deadpools. I keep on wanting to see Deadpools and Wolverines because all the Deadpool and Wolverine stuff and Deadpool/Wolverine, like Deadpool's name is always first, but it's Wolverines and Deadpools. And so, but yeah. So it just says they go up against the classic ex-villain, Wolverine and Deadpool's, baby. So there we go. Definitely not one that's definitely really on my radar, but hey, it's a thing, right? Here's something else I found interesting. X-Men by Chris Claremont, prelude to Days of Future Past. Another, it's a rare story.
Yeah, I read something about that.
Yeah, it's very interesting because they're talking about it's a giant size one-shot will include bonus materials celebrating Claremont's 50-plus years in comics. So revisit the nightmarish world of tomorrow and Days of Future Past, and a revolutionary prelude to by the legendary Screwman. Okay, yeah. So let's just talk about the talent here. They don't say much about it, but I find it very interesting that they're going back to this world, and I don't know. It's one of those things. I haven't read the story myself. I need to, but it's one of those things where the story of it just seems like a very nice one, or in this case, 2 and done, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And so I don't know quite why they're revisiting it.
July.
Yeah, July 2nd. So, yeah, we'll see. I'll probably read. Yeah, I might. This might at least give me the motivation to read Days of Future Past beforehand. But if I'll actually get this, I don't know.
Oh, have you not read that one yet?
No, I'm close to it. I think because it's fairly early on in Claremont's run, right?
Yeah.
When I say fairly early on, I'm talking about across all 200+ issues or whatever he's done of X-Men.
Who is that supposed to be over there on the left?
See, that looks like an Iron Man to me. But
no. Okay, not I know. Yeah, that's Iron Man. I meant beneath him.
Oh, that lady. It seems. I don't know.
I'm not sure who that could be. Let's see what we got here in the article.
Yeah, 141 and 142, and I left off reading. Well, she did it.
Well, you know what? It could be Rachel Summers, or that could be Kate Pride. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. One way to find out, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna probably have to put this on my pull list.
Alrighty, there we go. And then let's see here. What else do we have? that's it as far as actual Marvel comic news. I have a couple things regarding stuff that's Marvel but not comic news, such as we have the date, which I think was already confirmed beforehand, but more importantly, we have the title for the next Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man Brand New Day, where I like their logo changes here. I like it. But
they're hinting at an old, well, I say old, not really old. It's a story arc from.
It was like a big era, I would say. Like, story arc, I guess,
like 2000. I want to say 2007, 2008, somewhere in there.
Well, it's famously where Dan Slott began trying to write Spider-Man, along with other creators. They were doing a really unique strategy at the time, where it was like, if I remember right, it was 3-issue arcs, and they trade between 3-issue creators, because their thing is Spider-Man. I don't think it was weekly, but I think it was 3 issues per month or something great. Or maybe it was weekly at that point. I don't know. Point is, though, 3 different creative teams would swap out to make Spider-Man weekly, or pretty near weekly. And so, in that whole era was called Brand New Day here.
Yeah.
So, very cool. And so, yeah, I think we're definitely getting Mr. Negative. And you remember that, who's that one, like, mysterious lady character in that as well? Jackpot? Is her name Jackpot?
In the comic book, you mean?
Yeah, in the comic. Yeah. I think the character I'm thinking of is Jackpot.
Let's see.
Jackpot. Yes.
There was Jackpot. There was a character. There was a character named Overdrive.
Okay, this character Jackpot I'm thinking of is who I think, because it made the news a week or two ago that Sadie Sink is casted for, or a few weeks ago that Sadie Sink is casted for the Spider-Man movie. I think this is the character she's playing. I think they're doing Jackpot, and they're doing Mr. Negative, where they have a casting call out for an Asian guy then between the years of 30 and 50 years old. So sounds a lot like a Mr. Negative to me. So we'll see.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see Mr. Negative on the big screen.
And also to say the director is the person who directed Shang-Chi.
Oh.
So another reason to be excited, I think. So it'll be very interesting. The other thing that we got here is we got some looks at Beyond the Spider-Verse, which also got an official date. But
I'll believe that when I see it.
But like, look at this. This is freaking amazing looking here. I really like this one here. Look at that. That's awesome here. And so, and that one, that's the other big one where I'm like, holy crap, this is awesome. Very much so. I realized that the next thing I was going to pull up, I didn't link up, so I'm getting a link for that really quick. But the date for this, though, is June 4th of 2027. So,
yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
We'll believe it when you say, "Oh, you know what? Fair enough. I can understand that with how long it's taking." But you know what? I think those first 2 movies were fantastic. And so I'm very excited to see where it's going. I think it has the potential to become the strongest comic book trilogy, just because of, like, you know, having a great first 2 movies, and if they can round it out. So
yeah.
But so we'll see what happens, though. You know, absolutely. All right. So this next thing is, I know you don't play it, but I do, and you might find the story of what they're doing here interesting. There is new trailer for Marvel Rivals new season, where they have why is it, hold on, did I have my I don't know why it's lagging. silly here. Okay, YouTube's being dumb making it lag. But Marvel Rivals new season, which is based off of the Hellfire Gala. And they're bringing in Krakoa, as when they were starting to develop this game, Krakoa was a big thing.
Yeah.
And as you can see here, they having all these people in their Krakoan special sort of outfits here. They're bringing in Krakoa as a new map. And what's interesting, though, is there's a twist with it, as you're going to see here in a moment. The twist with it is it's Ultron invading Krakoa. And so that's the whole theme of this season.
Interesting.
Yeah, I like this idea of Ultron invading Krakoa. And so we'll see what yeah. So just a fancy little cinematic there, as you can see everything go on there. So
kind of off topic, but not really. Do you subscribe to anything on Comixology?
I do not.
Okay. So what Comixology will do often, but not all the time for some strange reason, will say, hey, this comic book is about to be released. They're just telling you, hey, this is about to be released, and it's on your pull list.
Okay.
It's Comixology. The reason I bring it up is I just got one of those notifications.
Okay.
I haven't got a notification for any of the other stuff that we just talked about.
Yeah.
That's coming out this week.
Yeah.
But I got a notification for this one that I just shot over to you in Discord, and forgot that I have not canceled that series yet.
Friendly reminder to do so, I guess.
I was like, well, I'll just go ahead and keep it, because I do like it. It was one of them that didn't survive the purge.
Well, it's also one of those too where issue 12 is usually an end of an arc. You know, it's either 10 or 12 nowadays, right?
Yeah.
So depending on what was going on in 11, you know, this could be a good point to hop off of it as well, you know.
We'll see. But
Just
yeah, for those of you watching, I'm talking about Spider-Gwen, the Ghost Spider, number 12.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought I canceled that. Apparently I didn't.
I gotta love that. Yeah, I need to reevaluate mine. I started looking into it, but not heavily, because I'm like, I know there's some stuff coming out I want to check out, but then always, you know, whenever you check out stuff, it's like, well, is there some things to trim? But what also helps here is that a couple of the miniseries that I was reading is wrapping up, so that kind of helps make some room, you know, such as Wolverine Revenge just ended, and a big one that wraps up end of this month is the second Last Ronin series. So, yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. Well, I only got a couple more things to talk about, so let's just get on through these. Originally, I wasn't even going to include this one, as we already talked about this announcement before of Superman the World, but we got a bunch of images and descriptions of different stories in here. I'm not going to spend too much time going through all these different story descriptions, but it's an anthology of 208-page anthology of... Comes out June 25th. I do not see how many stories are listed in here. I don't see it, but it's one, two, because it's from different places, but however many different countries are listed here, that's how many different stories is involved in this. I'm too lazy to count these. I started to, and I'm like, never mind. But anyway, we got a bunch of looks at different artwork and stuff with these. I'm sure really cool. You can see the diverse art here. Like this, I think this art stands out here, which is cool looking. And so those are neat. Yeah, like an old man Superman vibe with his stuff going on here. So anyway, I like the art involved with this. I don't know if I'll end up getting this or not. I didn't even read the Batman one they did, but this art here reminded me of Tim Sale's work on Superman for All Seasons.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of. But yeah. Oh, there's a manga-inspired one. Superman to the left of the hummingbird. So, yeah, just get a bunch of looks of one here. Oh, here's one involving Lobo there. So,
Yeah, they got to get that. They got to get him in there because he's going to be on film in a year or two.
Yeah, did you read the most recent Lobo thing that they did? The Lobo cancellation special?
I have not.
Well, it'd be on your DC app by now for sure. But it's a really fun one shot. And I met the writer before, but I met him again last month. Because he always goes to that comic con there. It's one of his personal favorites to go to. But anyway, he was there, and I got him. He signed it, and he was saying like he thinks Lobo works best in those small doses of like one shot is perfect. So I definitely recommend that. So, but reason I brought that up though is I wouldn't be surprised if they do like a Lobo miniseries somehow. So we'll see what happens. And I realized I wasn't even sharing that, but
it's all good.
But anyway, last thing which to cover, which has had the internet all up in arms, is this new Superman sneak peek. Where is this going to screw up as well? I don't know.
Yeah, I saw that on YouTube a few days ago, sometime last week. I guess probably the day it came out. And then I saw it again on the big screen yesterday.
And I ask, how is it seeing on the big screen?
That's pretty awesome.
I'd imagine so. I'm excited for that. See, this one's not fucking up. I must have just been the other video. Anyway, side note there. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this movie.
Yeah. Well, I absolutely love it. I know you're more of a cat person, but I absolutely love the point here, with crypto coming in. And
I love crypto. Crypto's awesome.
Okay, now it's showing up.
I do not like crypto.
But like, I just love this though, because it's like anybody with a dog is just like
wants to play with an injured Superman.
Yeah, right. Like this is fully what a young, energetic dog would do. Like they're making it obvious of like, this is an earlier Superman and a young version of crypto. He's
like, I want to play.
I know, right? It's so adorable. I love crypto so much, and so it's just that
play with me or what?
So adorable.
Come on, play with me.
It's so adorable. I love him so much. Crypto might honestly be the most exciting part of this movie for me. You know what I mean? Like out of all the different characters,
I get you.
Having crypto part of it, and I understand that his depiction here, like as far as his breed, is a little different than what you expect from a normal crypto. It does in a way to harken back to some of his original appearances. I don't know if you have seen that artwork, which is kind of interesting.
I don't have a problem with his breed.
No, me neither at all. But I think he looks absolutely adorable, and I just can't wait for crypto here. But also,
at least they got his fur color right.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's the big thing that matters is he's a white dog,
Yeah.
So and this is so adorable, and we got to see the Fortress of Solitude here. I think looks fantastic.
Yeah.
And so seeing that is awesome. And then we go in and we see there's these robots, which funny enough, they were a big thing in All-Star Superman, which is a big inspiration. But then I was also reading too that these robots were a big part of Superman, and I believe his pre-Crisis, that era.
I mean, yeah, he's had robots.
It's been a thing. Yeah, it's been a thing. Most notably, though, because some of the newer iterations don't really focus on these robots being a thing. That was part of why I was saying that. Because I know some people were complaining about it, as people love to bitch on the internet. It's like Superman doesn't.
I'm glad that James Gunn is giving them a little bit of love.
Yeah, absolutely. So, see the fortune.
I feel very optimistic about the James Gunn iteration of Superman.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it. All I'm saying is James Gunn, I don't think has done us wrong yet. So, and then everyone's here getting mad at Superman screaming as he gets healed, which it's pain when everybody goes through. But anyway, and then we got a couple like tiny new like lines or bits here or extend a little bit here, but it's pretty much just the same of what we've seen before, But all great stuff here that I just absolutely cannot wait for.
I'm looking forward to checking out that kaiju.
Yeah, and one of the toys that's coming with Lex Luthor. So McFarlane Toys, who does all the main DC stuff.
Yeah.
All the DC toys and whatnot, is doing a is obviously doing Superman figures, right?
Right.
And so, anyway, the main Superman figure, they're like a little more deluxe editions of where you have the main Superman figure, and then he's coming with a little crypto. But then Lex Luthor is coming with a little baby kaiju.
That's funny.
Yeah. So, but yeah, that's it for this week's show.
Good times.
Yeah, great first half. I gotta say though, with having them on, first time I've ever done anything like this before, and so it was awesome. And so I'm very glad that
next week we talk about
Secret Wars, Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars.
Yeah,
which I need to decide if I want to buy me a physical copy of that or not. But yes, thank you everybody so much for coming by. We will be joined by special guest John from Nerd Reactor. And so thank you so much for sticking around, Matthew. And yeah. I'm trying to think if I have anything special like really planned. I don't think so. Obviously, you have your Rebel Nerd Radio.
Yeah, we are going to have a special guest on Rebel Nerd Radio this Tuesday while we do a kind of a retrospective of Andor Season 1.
Nice. I need to rewatch it. That date is quickly approaching too, which is like shit.
Yeah, we are, let's see, how many days until Andor?
If I remember right, is it Daredevil and
17 days.
Or if I remember right, is it Daredevil ends the same day Andor begins? Is that right?
I believe so.
Shit. I'm so far behind on Daredevil. That needs to be a next watch, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I am up to date.
That's good. No, I'd expect you to be.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I'm loving the show. It's great.
Yeah.
Two more episodes left. You know what? Actually, I think looking at the episode count.
Yeah. Andor's the week after.
It might be it might be one ends and then the next one picks up the next week. Yeah. Because the last episode of Daredevil airs on April 15th.
And I remember Andor was 20 something. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, 22.
Okay, cool.
22nd.
I also give more time to rewatch. Yeah,
it'll give you time to catch up with it.
I think
how behind are you?
I've only watched the first two.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, I don't even remember a lot from the second one because I was really sleepy.
You haven't even seen Muse yet.
No, I haven't. I'll be honest. I didn't intend to fall this far behind. I just got distracted, which happens. Because I was focusing on catching up on a couple other series at the time, and then I haven't been in a groove of watching stuff.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say though with that was what the fuck was I gonna say with that?
I don't
know. The first episode of Daredevil kind of pissed me off. And now that I've kind of at the time of watching it, now I've kind of understood what I think they're doing with it, but how they treated a particular character. While I understand what I think they're doing later on with that character, that being Foggy, I think everybody knows at this point what's happened to Foggy. What they did with Foggy really annoyed me, but I think I now understand what they're doing with Foggy, but I still think the way they did it was very disrespectful to his character, and that very much annoyed me throughout the first episode. That and something else they did like right after, kind of concerning Foggy, kind of. And so, but I want to rewatch the episode, and when I was watching the second episode, when I was watching it after D&D, and the episodes dropped, then I was like dozing on and off in that second episode, so I was planning on rewatching that episode anyway, because it was one of those cases of where I was dozing on and off, where I got the gist of everything that was going on, but I missed a lot of the details of what was going on. So I just need to rewatch those, and I've been meaning to get around to it. I just really haven't been watching much recently, so I intend on it though. I am actually watching. Speaking of plugs, I need to finish watching a movie that I will be guesting on somebody's show. I don't think he has a live link up for it, but let me pull up the YouTube link for it, where I will be talking about Heat. Yeah, I actually haven't seen the movie before until now, where I'm halfway through the movie. I need to finish it.
Good movie.
And yeah, it was pretty good. But in honor of the late Val Kilmer. See, why did I mention that? I meant to mention that is rest in peace Val Kilmer, who not everybody's favorite Batman, but he definitely contributed to part of the comic book movies as we know them
He
now.
was awesome in Tombstone, though.
See, that was another movie I was thinking about watching, but the people there decided that they want to watch Heat for their movie, and I've been wanting to join them for a bit. And Heat or Tombstone was the two I was like debating between squeezing in this weekend, and so Heat went out, and so I need to finish that.
That's surprising that they would pick Heat over Tombstone.
It's I don't know. It's just what the person suggested, So, and I was like, between those two movies, that's what I was thinking about watching. So
yeah,
I do definitely intend on watching Tombstone as well, though. So I actually didn't have Netflix until actually yesterday, because I saw Heat was on there, and I was thinking about picking back up Netflix anyway.
Yeah,
and so I was like, screw it, I'll go ahead and do it because I want to watch the Devil May Cry series that's on there.
Gotcha. Cool.
So, but yeah, anyway, what did Matthew say here? Finally, watched Borderlands. I have not watched that. Bullet Train, I need to finish that. Fall Guy, that's pretty good. And Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. I still need to watch that. Jesus, I've been slacking on that. I've owned that movie for years and I have not watched it.
What's that?
Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Okay.
Everybody says I need to watch it, and guess what? I haven't watched. Anyway, but yeah, awesome to hear that you like them all, including Borderlands, which I've not heard good things about. So
yeah, neither have I.
I didn't watch it. We got a trailer for I swear to God, tangents when we're trying to wrap up here, but we got a trailer for that new Tron movie. Did you see that?
I did not. I didn't see the trailer. I did see a trailer for the new Naked Gun movie.
I haven't watched the first one, but yeah. Taco Cat saying Borderlands 3 is on Game Pass now. Which, yep. The Ultimate Edition, you get everything with that, which is important to say there. But yeah, awesome. So yeah, so be sure to go check out Rebel Nerd Radio, though. They're going to be talking about Andor. I'll let us do a bunch of tangents there. But anyway, next week we'll be doing Secret Wars here. I don't know if I'm doing anything else up until then. I might try to go live on Twitch again. I was intending on going live on Twitch last night, but there's a problem with playing the game that I was going to be doing co-op with, and so whole debacle over there. But that's neither here or there. So,
cool.
But I do. I'm back live on Twitch too. So anyway, thank you everybody so much for joining. It was a great episode here. Thank you everybody who came by to support Super Guy.
And thanks for everybody who backed it.
Yes, Charles and Dragon Buddy, and you here, Steve, as well. So thank you to all the backers for Super Guy so far. It was awesome to have them all. And see you all, everybody, next week for Secret Wars. That's going to be a big one. So until then, see you all later, everybody. Bye.